You'll never forget the day your cousins called you a failure at the family reunion. It's etched in your memory, like a scar that refuses to heal. You remember the laughter, the smiles, and the warm atmosphere, but most of all, you remember the words that cut deep. You recall walking up to the buffet table, trying to make small talk with your aunt and uncle. You had just finished a big project at work, something you were really proud of, but your cousins were too busy gossiping to notice. As you reached for a plate of food, you overheard them whispering behind your back. "Look at him, still living at home with his parents," one of them said with a chuckle. "He's got no idea what life is like outside of his comfort zone." The room fell silent, and all eyes turned to you. You felt the heat rise to your face as you tried to process what you were hearing. Your cousins continued to poke fun at you, their words dripping with sarcasm. "I mean, who needs a real job when you can just surf the internet all day?" Another one chimed in. The room erupted into laughter, and you felt like you were drowning in a sea of embarrassment. You tried to shake it off, but the words had already sunk in. You began to wonder if they were right. Were you a failure? The rest of the reunion was a blur. You went through the motions, forced smiles and awkward conversations, but deep down, you felt like you were just going through the motions. You left the reunion feeling defeated, like you had let everyone down. The words of your cousins had cut deep, making you question your worth and accomplishments. As you drove home, the silence in the car was deafening. You couldn't shake off the feeling of inadequacy that had settled in your stomach. You began to wonder if you were truly cut out for success. Were you just a failure waiting to happen? But little did you know, a surprise was waiting for you. Something that would change the way you saw yourself and your place in the world. It was something that would make you realize that your cousin's words were not the truth. But for now, let's just say that you were left with a lingering feeling of doubt, a sense of uncertainty that would haunt you for weeks to come. You'll have to wait until next time to find out what happens next, but for now, let's take a step back and reflect on the impact that those words had on you. How do you think you would have reacted if you were in your shoes? Would you have taken it to heart, or would you have stood up for yourself? The fact is, we've all been there at some point or another. We've all been called names, been put down, or been made to feel insignificant. But what sets us apart is how we choose to respond to those situations. Do you let the negativity define you, or do you rise above it? Do you let the words of others dictate your self-worth, or do you stand up for yourself and your accomplishments? These are the questions that will be answered in the next part of our story. But for now, let's just say that you're not alone in feeling like a failure. We've all been there, and we've all come out stronger on the other side. So take a deep breath, and let's move forward together. Let's explore what happens next, and how you can rise above the negativity and find your true worth. But before we move on, take a moment to think about this. What is it about the words of others that can cut so deep? Is it the way they're delivered, the tone they use, or the words themselves? Whatever it is, it's clear that words have the power to shape our perceptions of ourselves. So, let's explore this further. What are some ways in which we can build ourselves up, rather than tearing ourselves down? How can we create a support system that uplifts and encourages us, rather than tearing us down? These are the questions that will be answered in the next part of our story. But for now, let's just say that you're not alone in feeling like a failure. We've all been there, and we've all come out stronger on the other side. So take a deep breath, and let's move forward together. Let's explore what happens next, and how you can rise above the negativity and find your true worth. And remember, it's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to feel like you're not good enough. But what's not okay is letting those feelings define you. You are so much more than your doubts and fears. You are a unique individual with a story to tell, and a voice that deserves to be heard. So let's keep moving forward, shall we? Let's see what's next in our story, and how you can rise above the negativity and find your true worth. You'll never forget the day your cousins called you a failure at the family reunion. But what you might not know is that those hurtful words were only the beginning of a roller coaster ride of emotions that would change your life forever. Months went by, and the memory of that painful encounter still lingered, like a ghost that refused to leave you alone. But then, something unexpected happened. I received an unexpected call from a TV show, asking me to appear on a popular cooking segment. I was thrilled, but also nervous, knowing that my cousins would be watching. The thought of facing them again made my stomach twist into knots, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this was an opportunity one couldn't miss. As I walked onto the set, I was struck by the bright lights and bustling energy of the studio. The cameras, the crew, and the audience all seemed to be buzzing with anticipation. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves, and made my way to my designated spot. That's when I saw them, my cousin's children, cheering my name from the audience like I was a rock star. I couldn't believe my eyes. Were they actually supporting me? I thought back to the family reunion and how their parents had ridiculed me in front of everyone. But now, their kids seemed to be embracing me like I was a hero. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence, but as I looked around, I realized that my cousins were there too, beaming with pride and a hint of embarrassment. It was then that I understood their kids had seen the impact of their parents' words on me, and they wanted to make things right. They wanted to show me that they believed in me and that I was capable of achieving great things. As I took my place in front of the cameras, I felt a surge of determination. I was going to show them all what I was made of. I was going to cook like a pro and make them proud. And as the cameras rolled and the music started, I felt a sense of liberation wash over me. I was no longer the failure they had called me years ago. I was a strong, capable individual, and I was ready to take on the world. But little did I know, this was only the beginning of a new chapter in my life. A chapter filled with surprises, twists, and turns. A chapter that would teach me the true meaning of resilience and the power of forgiveness. And as I looked out into the audience, I knew that I was not alone. I had my cousin's kids cheering me on and a newfound sense of purpose driving me forward. The cameras kept rolling, and I lost myself in the moment. I was cooking, laughing, and enjoying every second of it. And as the segment came to a close, I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment that I had never felt before. I had faced my fears, and I had come out on top. As I walked off the set, I was met with applause and congratulations from the crew and the audience. I had done it. I had faced my cousins, and I had come out victorious. But more importantly, I had gained something far more valuable, the support and admiration of their kids. And as I looked around, I knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in my life, one that would be filled with love, laughter, and a sense of purpose. The audience cheered, and I smiled, feeling a sense of gratitude and wonder. I had faced my demons, and I had come out on top. And as I walked away from the studio, I knew that I would never forget this moment, this feeling of triumph and pride. It was a moment that would stay with me forever, a reminder that no matter what life throws at you, you always have the power to choose how you respond. You'll never forget the sound of your own name being cheered on national TV. It's a feeling that's hard to put into words, but I'll try to paint the picture for you. As I stepped onto the set, my heart was racing with anticipation. I'd worked tirelessly to perfect my recipe, and now it was time to showcase it to the world. The children's cheers and beaming smiles turned my heart into a warm, fuzzy feeling. It was as if they were rooting for a favorite team, and I was the MVP. I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment as I began to cook my way through the segment. The cameras rolled, and the lights shone bright, but all I could see was the sea of faces in front of me, cheering me on. As I expertly chopped, sautéed, and seasoned my way to culinary stardom, I felt a sense of freedom that I'd never experienced before. It was as if the world had finally seen me for who I truly was, a talented chef, a creative genius, and a passionate individual who refused to let anyone bring me down. The experience taught me a valuable lesson, that true success comes from within and from the people who believe in you. It's not about what others think of you, but about how you perceive yourself. And when you have a supportive network of people cheering you on, nothing is impossible. I recall the words my cousins had spoken at the family reunion. "You're a failure." But in that moment, I realized that they were wrong. I was not a failure. I was a work in progress, a person with flaws and imperfections, but also with talents and abilities that no one else possessed. As I wrapped up the segment and the cameras stopped rolling, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the opportunity to share my story, gratitude for the people who believed in me, and gratitude for the chance to prove myself. And as I walked off the set, I knew that I was not the same person who had been called a failure all those months ago. I was stronger, wiser, and more confident than ever before. You see, the journey to redemption is not always easy, but it's always worth it. And if you're watching this right now, I want you to know that you too can overcome adversity and achieve greatness. Don't let anyone bring you down or make you feel like you're not good enough. Because the truth is, you are enough.